Alright, a very good day to all my viewers. It's Sunday, May 24th, 2026, almost 7:45 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and we're going to be going for a ride here on the A3 Anse-à-l'Orme Branch.
Direction A3 Anse-à-l'Orme.
So Anse-à-l'Orme, and
Prochaine station, des Sources.
decided to get on here at Bois-Franc instead of doing from Brossard like I did previously. So this way you guys can just see the branch from Bois-Franc all the way to Anse-à-l'Orme. So enjoy the ride. And remember, if you're new to my channel, hit the like button, subscribe, turn on your notification bells. By the way, I'm filming out of the left side window because the main window on the front is pretty icky right now, full of some grime. Not sure what set we're on. Didn't have a chance to look. So here's the pre-split, sort of, as we now go onto this elevated track structure here. And this is where we are now, in an area with 4 separate tracks. So the 2 tracks to our right are part of the Bois-Franc branch. Here you can see a train going in the Brossard direction, and this track, as well as the one on the left, is for the A3 branch, Anse-à-l'Orme.
What did I ask?
And we are slowly approaching the official branch split. You'll also see the airport branch split later on in the video. Of course, the airport branch should be completed next year, 2027. Alright, so here's the official deviation right here. So on the right side, of course, is the Bois-Franc branch, and here's the A3 Anse-à-l'Orme branch. There's a beautiful, nice curve here with some scenic trees and forest. As was pointed out by others, this is a very sort of industrial and commercial branch. You'll see a lot of factories, warehouses, of course shopping malls. Another little curve here. deviating to the right. And one of the cool things about, it doesn't matter what branch you're on, but every time you take a new ride, you always discover some other detail, some other building, or something you may have missed during previous rides. So coming up, we're going to see the airport branch split as well. I think that's the Metro Grocery Store Distribution Center on the left. So there is the airport branch split right there. So any trains going to the airport branch will be switching right there. And that should be opening, as I mentioned, next year in 2027, if everything goes as planned. And just so you know, that branch is coming along quite well. It's on budget and on time. So a cool random fact about this branch is, other than the SkyTrain in Vancouver, which obviously I haven't been on yet, maybe someday, this is the highest elevated light metro line in Canada, other than the SkyTrain. So it does make for some very scenic views. As I mentioned earlier, you can see clearly there's a lot of warehouses and industrial buildings. I think this is my first proper video of this branch from at least Anse-à-l'Orme, or sorry, from Bois-Franc going to Anse-à-l'Orme all the way to the end. Of course, I was with others on the Anse-à-l'Orme open house weekend. Vince and Schmiga, aka Dan, European mapping, other fellow transit friends. There's the Bois-Franc Station. Look at that, 2 trains back to back.
Station des Sources.
I wonder if one of them was out of service. So this is where I did the media invite.
Les portes s'ouvriront sur le côté droit.
That Friday. As always, thank you to the REM for that opportunity. It's also worth mentioning that this train line that we're on used to actually be a freight train spur at one point. And there's actually some remnants of the original tracks. If you look carefully while you're on the train, you'll probably see it better on the other side, but you'll see some old tracks when this was a rail spur for freight.
Direction A3 Anse-à-l'Orme. Prochaine station, Fairview Pointe-Claire.
There's the IGA Grocery Store Distribution Center on the right. So we saw the Metro Grocery Store Distribution Center. There's the IGA one. see soon a very beautiful view of the Oka Hills. So definitely enjoying rides on this new branch. It's a new experience. I haven't really been on it that much, but I'm going to try to enjoy it more. The only problem I have with this is the frequencies. Every 14-15 minutes, regardless of whether it's rush hour or normal, whether it's rush hour or off-peak, it's always 14 to 15 minutes, and I think it's the same for Dumontagne. So now we're going to be going over, I believe, the highway, not Route 40. Yeah, so down there, if you're on the other side, you can see it better. But there's some old abandoned train tracks that used to run right on the path of this train line we're on now. So this was basically built, at least a large portion of it, over where an original freight train spur was. So you can imagine, as I mentioned, this is a very industrial area, so those freight trains probably serviced the warehouses and whatnot, factories around here. Now I feel it's picking up speed. There's Highway 40. Kind of see over there the Oka Hills. Yeah, that window's a little grimy. So there's the Fairview Point Clare REM station with the Fairview Point Clare terminus, the new one for buses. I should have to get a video of that too later, with actual buses running there. Of course, the last video I took was during the open house weekend. They were still doing some finishing touches.
Fairview Point Clare. Les portes s'ouvriront sur le côté droit.
So it looks like a lot of people getting off here. And next station, of course, is Kirkland, which is the highest REM station out of them all, not just on this branch. Of course, Kirkland Station, very impressive view. When I eventually get to my walkthrough video of that station, you'll see the views. One thing I noticed as well about this line is the fact that it's really quiet. So I think they did the noise dampening work beforehand, learning from the mistakes of the Brossard branch when there's a lot of complaints about the noise. They probably took care of that right away. And there's your Fairview terminus.
A3 Anse-à-l'Orme. Prochaine station, Kirkland.
I'm going to briefly check which set I'm on here for those that are interested. Oh, so we're on set 77. Set 77. Very interesting cloud pattern over there. So here's where it really gets elevated. There's a Provico store on the left. Of course, the only problem is that they put more frequent trains. That's going to mean that the main branch between, say, Brossard and Anse-à-l'Orme is going to have insane frequency, probably every 2 to 5 minutes all the time. So if you're in that main branch, let's say you live or work between Brossard and Bois-Franc Station, you're getting a lot of trains. You're getting a lot of frequent trains because the trains going to Dumontagne and Anse-à-l'Orme are going through there. So you get twice the frequency. And then once you get to Bois-Franc, that's where, past Bois-Franc in each branch, that's where it slows down, or less frequent because the branch is off. But between Brossard and Bois-Franc, you're basically being served by the trains going to Dumontagne and Anse-à-l'Orme. So. Alright guys, so we're almost at Kirkland Station here. I'm going to briefly show you guys the hills. You can see in the distance the Oka Hills. Look at that, There's the Oka Hills. And again, if you're wondering how to find out what set you're on, it's simple. It's these numbers right here. So we're on set 77. That'll always tell you which set.
Station Kirkland.
So here we are, the highest point of the REM.
Les portes s'ouvriront sur le côté droit.
When I do a walk through the station, I'm going to do it at nighttime so it's more clear, the contrast. Because the REM stations at nighttime are spectacular. The lighting and whatnot. Alright, so one more stop. And that will conclude the entire A3 Anse-à-l'Orme Branch. And yes, I'm still working on the pronunciation of that. I know some others have suggested, naming it Chemin Sainte-Marie or even Saint-Anne-de-Bellevue.
Direction A3 Anse-à-l'Orme.
So here we again go downhill.
Prochaine station Anse-à-l'Orme.
Well, you can hear the proper pronunciation in the announcement, so even if I'm botching it, which I probably am, at least you hear what it sounds like. Now, even though these stations are complete, obviously, a lot of them have landscaping work that needs to be finished, especially Kirkland and Anse-à-l'Orme. Now, I know at Anse-à-l'Orme Station there's a beautiful hill that a lot of rail fanning photographers use, train spotters, especially on the open house weekend they were there. So yeah, what is that? About 20 minutes it took from Bois-Franc to here. And we're going to see... And we're going to see the REM wash here in a minute and the storage area. So what's interesting, at least for now, is that the boarding platform is the same as the the debarking platform. So the platform you get off is the same one you get on. And I think it switches right here. So it switches after you leave the station. So there you go. Unless we switch before in this case. I don't think that's the case. Oh, yeah, there we are. Okay, we're switching beforehand. So yeah, so this is the same platform that you're going to get on. Same one that you get off. And there's that hill, by the way, for train spotting. Nice little hill. Alright guys, so once again, thanks for watching. As always, if you guys like what you see, hit the like button, subscribe, turn on your notification bells, more videos to come. Thanks for watching.
Les portes s'ouvriront sur le côté droit.
Look at that, 20 minutes almost exactly, right on. Thanks for watching, guys. More videos to come.